Today is a great day for all of us to rejoice and to enjoy this resurrection of Christ. Throat. The resurrection of Christ took place to open our Agya center. Because it was a very subtle center, as you know, very complicated, with the ideas people had from their conditioning and from their ego, where so much clogging the Agya Chakra that Kundalini could have been impossible to pass through. So all the play of resurrection took place. And as Christ was nothing but Chaitanya, he was resurrected from death, so-called. In this death of Christ, we have to also understand that we have achieved our resurrection. We have achieved our resurrection. Also, whatever was supposed to be the past has died, is finished now. So, this repentance that we have, the conditionings we have are dead. But still it is very surprising that among the Christian nations, the ego did not subside as it should have been. Perhaps may be that Christ was never worshipped in the right way. The ego in the West was absolutely so dominating that nobody could see what they are doing and how far they are going. Unnecessarily, they are repenting about something that is far-fetched. But repentance was meant for our ego. It's very shocking sometimes when you see how the Christian nations invaded other countries, completely annihilated, completely finished and destroyed, races after races. They were Christians, followers of Christ, taking Bible in their hand. Can you imagine such a horrible things these so-called Christians have done in the name of Christ? Why is it? We have to understand this ego works so much in the Western countries or in the countries where they followed Christianity. Anywhere, if they are Christians, they are extremely aggressive, extremely violent, and they think that the whole world belongs to them. Even Hitler believed in the Catholic religion. Sort of this great sacrifice of Christ never taught them any lesson, as if it was all obliterated from their memory, as if it has no meaning to them, it conveyed nothing to them. And they became so violent. Not only that, but they thought they have a right to rule the whole world, plunder everyone, destroy everyone. Why? Because they were Christians. What a contrast it is to the life of Christ, who resurrected out of the so-called death. But the ego still remained, not only, but it grew up to such an extent that today we see the Christians have lost their sense of maryadas completely. The way the Christian churches are behaving is shocking. There is no morality of any kind left in them. They have no respect for law, no respect for God, no respect also for the chastity, which was the main point of Christ, main guna of Christ. This shocked me when I was a child. As I was born in a Christian family, and I found the Christians in India the most dogmatic, most dominating people. It surprised me. How have they taken Christ for granted? And why are they using his name to dominate others? Unfortunately, at that time, we had the British ruling us. British also maneuvered the whole thing in such a manner that the Indians believed that Christ was born in England. They used to dress up like English. They called themselves Sahabs. They used to behave in a very arrogant manner. And they had places in the government. They joined hands with government, had no loyalties to Indians. Even when my father was arrested, they threw us out of the Christian community. They threw me out of the school when I was just a 6, 7-year-old girl because my father was a congressman. So this side of Christianity, so far, nobody has seen, I personally think, that all the Christian nations have been extremely cruel, extremely dominating, and they are today at the helm of affairs. This subtle ego has now, which was once the property of some monarchs, but has now in democratic countries have become very much available to all the ordinary people. And all these countries we find are full of destruction. It's not only that the European did like this, but even Americans are extremely dominating, extremely egoistical, to such an extent that they are idiotic. Imagine they follow Christ, who was wisdom, the source of wisdom, and his disciples should be so stupid and idiotic cannot be explained. Why it happens like that? So we have to see to the history of religion, that is Christianity. There was, as you know, Peter. Peter was a very egoistical fellow, and once Christ said that you are a Satan, said clearly, and also said that you will deny me 3 times. That's the time this Paul came up, and he thought it's a very good chance to get hold of somebody who is a weak person, who is satanic, who is in a way antichrist. And he found Peter. He, being a great bureaucrat, wooed him, managed him, and took him into his own confidence and told him that you join hands with me, so I will make you the main person. And then he told all the other disciples that you are not so educated. I am a great educated man, and I know what to write, what not to write. So we shouldn't write all the things that you have written, we should edit it. He edited the Bible, this sinister fellow, Paul. He edited the Bible. The whole work of Christ went into the hands of this devil. He started editing it. And when he edited, if you read him, you'll be surprised. It's full of ego. He's organizing, he's full of ego, whatever he writes, absolutely. But he cut down many things which should have been there. Christ must have mentioned about Kundalini, I'm sure. But not a word about all these things. He avoided it. Though that we are to be born again, and all these things Christ said, Matthews insisted. But he fought with Matthews. And he couldn't accept the Immaculate Conception. Because he had no idea about the truth, about the reality, about the miracles that exist with divinity. So he denied. But still Matthew stuck on to his own gospel. But John ran away. He started his own style, which he called people as Gnostics. And the other disciples, out of them Thomas, went away. So he edited Luke's gospel and Matthew's gospel, and with great struggle they could retain certain original things in that. So this devil entered into the arena of such a great religion as Christianity. And the whole thing became upside down. And that's how Bible, which they use now as authority, has such words that people start thinking knowing of themselves. The first one suggesting that if you become the members of a church, you are chosen. But first of all he saw that it should be written that Peter will start this church and he will have the key. That's what Christ has said. And put him on a rock and he will start the church. Impossible. They put me in the place of Christ. Will I ask the wickedest man to do such a thing? Will I appoint one person to look after the whole thing? This part of the Bible is absolutely blasphemy. And that's how, once he put it there, Peter got into his own ego, thinking no end of himself. It was just maneuvering and managing everything. This was all done with his bureaucratic brains. But Peter played into it because he was a very weak disciple of Christ. As you know, in Sahaja Yoga also we have really 12 types of Sahaja Yogis. And some of them are very weak. They are weak because they have too much ego. They cannot carry on with anyone. They shout at people. They disturb others. They think no end of themselves. They are always aggressive. They cannot be collective. They never show any love for each other. So this type of Sahajogis are there, which are one by one are showing their colors. But some of them are learning and are understanding that this is something is wrong, should not be. Christ had hardly 3.5 years to work out all this. But I didn't know that out of these 12, one would be such a sinister fellow that, of course, one got him caught also. But this Peter would be such a horrible fellow that for his own glory, for his own self-interest, he would put such words in the Bible and have a great authority. It has happened also with Muhammad Sahib. Firstly, that Muhammad Sahib has said that there will be a resurrection time. That means he talked of the future. So how can it be that he was the last? If he was the last, then how are you going to have the resurrection? But the seal of prophet doesn't mean that it's sealed now. No prophet can come down. It means seal means a kind of a brand, you can call it. And he was Adi Guru, so he called himself, I am the seal. He didn't say that I have sealed. But crooked people take advantage of these little words and start using them for their own purposes because they're very self-centered. So another type of Sahajogis are extremely self-centered. Some of them are quite self-centered in the sense that they know their own wives, their children, and their house, and this and that. To them it is very important to be busy with their children. You'll be amazed, some people came to Bombay with their children, didn't come for the puja in Delhi. What sort of Sahajogi is that? So this kind of Sahajogis exist, that they are more worried about their children than about Sahajoga, more about their own emancipation, worried about their family, their household. Some women are quite good at it. They try to remove their husbands from the ashrams. They try to find out excuses how to get out of the collectivity. You are judged all the time, and you judge yourself clearly. Now, do not think of others when I am saying this, but put it to yourself. You must know that Christ was crucified. And who crucified them? They were not crucified by Jews. It's a wrong idea. How can all the Jews who were just like slaves could crucify Christ? It was the Roman Empire at that time wanted to crucify because they thought he's becoming very powerful. Please sit down. And when they tried to crucify, they didn't even think that Christ is crucified because Jews wanted it. The blame was put on them just to avoid the blame from the people who were rulers. And the rulers can always do such a thing, is to make crucifixion of anyone and putting the blame on anyone. So the Christians, the early Christians were mostly Jews. Christ himself was a Jew. So to say that Jews crucified Christ, how can it be? So the blame was put on the Jews. And then Christians thought that they have every right to hate the Jews because Christ was crucified by Jews. This is another idea which has worked out through Mr. Paul, because he didn't want to take any blame on the Roman administration. So Pilate washes his hands and he He washes his hands. They're very significant. He washes his hands. So he's doing it not with his authority, but he's doing it with the authorities of the Jew. This drama was played. And then all the Christians were busy hating the Jews and thinking that they have crucified Christ. Amen. Those are thousands of years when it had happened. And in thousands of years, somebody crucified somebody, for that they are hated. I mean, in that way, all the white race must be hated for generations together, if that is the criteria, because they have not only crucified one man, millions and millions they have crucified. Are we going to blame their children and their children? So this is third type of Sahajogis we have, who try to blame somebody else all the time, not themselves. Such people, when they start blaming others, can never improve. They should introspect. But introspection is missing very much in the Western countries, except in Russia. Because there is no way out. It's nowhere written that you introspect yourself. Only thing, if you go to church and confess to some deaf and dumb priest, you are saved. So nobody introspects. Let us face it ourselves. Do we introspect or not? Or we are that kind of people, Sahajogis, who are not so much self-centered, but are self-opinionated and self-glorified. Who do not want to find out what's wrong with them. Now we have another kind, fourth kind, which is very interesting to see. That they are worshipping Mataji in the house, but they can't come to collect. No, they can't, because it's a little far away. But if they have to go to meet their son, they will go miles together. If they have to do something for their family, they'll do it. Not only that, but supposing they have to do some business, they will travel. In Sahaja nobody is asked to give up their jobs, to give up their lives, lifestyles, nothing of the kind. But priority is to be seen. They are very busy with their work, with earnings, with whatever they are doing. And they are just after earning a name, working very hard, doing artistic work, maybe creative work. They are very busy. They have no time for themselves, no time for God. This kind of people also, oh, we worship Mother. Before our creative work, we bow to Mother. Take help from her. And we want all the protection from her for our work, for our creativity. And there are some Sahajogis who still think that money is very important. Still think. It is not. In Sahaja, we get money whenever we want. Some of them, I am starting a business because 0.001% I want to give to Sahaja. And if you say, why are you giving? It's all yours, Mother, 0.001%. It's all yours. After all, what are we doing? It's all yours. This kind of attitude comes when you think that money is very important. Money is very important for such people who cannot see God beyond this, who cannot see subtler advantage of this money. They calculate every pie meticulously. They don't want that their hard-earned money should be wasted about their spirituality. Or we have people who won't buy a book of such, won't buy a tip, they'll copy it. Saving, save pounds or save dollars. They wouldn't buy something that is needed. They wouldn't buy a photograph, but they would like to ask somebody to make a photograph out of it, and we can have that. It's not that it is necessary to spend, but the attitude of mind. If you can save some money, very good. If you can save some time, very good. But that this time that is saved is for Sahaja Yoga, they seldom understand. If you read I was reading the Buddhist religion, and I was amazed. There are so many don'ts that if I put even one to Sahaja Yogis, you'll all run away. First is you cannot make any profit. No profit. You cannot buy any land. You can only eat your food once a day. You have to be vegetarian, absolutely. You cannot kill anyone. You may kill human beings, that's not written. But you cannot kill any animal, you cannot kill any fish, you cannot kill even a mosquito. So this kind of religion is there, which is, they say Buddha talked about. I don't think so, Buddha could have said. So all these people, the followers of all these great incarnations, have done so much wrong to the people who brought beautiful religions to us. And that's why we are absolutely deviated from the path of truth. So those who really are honest and want to adhere to the path of truth have to all the time introspect and find out within yourself how far we are on the truth. So now we have another kind of Sahaja Yogis also, who are more sort of, I should say, like enjoy festivals, you see, clubbing together. Because we have a feeling of belonging. We should belong to something. We should belong to this group or to that group or to that group. Either you go to Christianity or to the Jews or to the Islam and other to some politics. Say for in England, they'll ask you a question, what is your politics? I said, what is my politics? I couldn't understand this question. Everybody must have a brand of politics. I said, what do you mean by that? I said, are you a communist? No, no, I'm not. Are you a conservative? No, no. Are you a socialist? I'm not. Then what are you? I am a human being. They couldn't understand, I'm just a human being without any politics on my head. So, the idea of belonging, I must belong to this cult or to this sect or to this so-called religions. Then you start getting involved into all kinds of conditionings, all kinds of rules and regulations and things, and you start binding yourself, and very happy, very happy. So you ask some sects, why are you clean shaven? Oh, in our religion we are supposed to have a clean shaved head. Eh? What is this? Or something like that, stupid, like you must have beard, or you must have moustaches. Some sort of a clannishness, not understanding that reality is full of varieties. There has to be variety. That is how it is aesthetics and Saundarya. If you do not have variety, how can you be a personality? How can be a person who is bound by these nonsensical outside ideas be a person who has a personality? If religion cannot give you a personality, it's better to do away with such a thing. It gives you an inner personality and also an outer personality. And this personality, when you start enjoying, then only one would say you are a Sahajogi, where you are not told not to steal, not to hit someone, not to be aggressive with anyone, not to be egoistical. Never said like that. But a personality that watches oneself. But normally people watch others, not themselves. This is also another problem of the West, that you watch others, never watch yourself. But all this goes on and on and on till we really become slaves of our own ideas about a personality, and we start projecting that personality through our ego and try to show that we are something very special. Just the opposite is Sahaja try to understand this very clearly. We are all a personality. We are all persons. We are all saints and are to be respected as saints. We need not have the same type of personality. Everybody must have to, it has to be different types of styles of talking, styles of delivering things, styles of expression of divine love. So we do not form a kind of a regimental people because we are free. We are absolutely free because we have the light. We know how far we have to go, what is the right way, which way to go. Immediately you know what is correct. If that light is there, nicely burning within yourself, you don't have to ask me, ask anyone. When such people come up, understanding that Sahaja Yoga is complete freedom. But this complete freedom is there because you have the light. Without the light, the freedom is nonsense. It has no meaning. You hurt everyone, you trouble everyone, torture everyone. But with the light, firstly, great thing happened to us. That the religions which are preached by these great prophets and incarnations just become part and parcel of ourselves. Here it is, the Japanese will say we are Buddhist and kill as many as people as they like. Or the Christians, as I said, are just the opposite of what they are. So then you really become a real Christian and a real Muslim and a real Hindu. And then you realize all religions are really like a part of the ocean, and you no more identify yourself with any particular one, but you just jump in the ocean of religion, and you are, in a way, the real religious personality. I don't have to tell you about your morality. You just see, watch how you have dropped out. So many of these wrong things which you are doing. So many has to write to me also, but I never read them. So I used to just burn off everything. I don't want to know about it. You are a free person. In that freedom, you see that you have imbibed all these religions. Before realization, no one can be religious. They can profess, they can have a brand, they may say something, but it's all outside. Not only that, but they are just the opposite of the religion they are professing. Just the opposite. And they deviate. Not only that, pollute the basis of religion. And the basis of religion is the assent. If the religion cannot give you the balance to assent, it's better to have no religion. Atheists are better like Russians, who have no religion, who are only worried about their assent. That's why maybe that Christ and Mahavira didn't want to talk about God. So then, we have people who have the light, and they worry about their own light, and they want that this light should be there all the time burning, and this light not only should enlighten them, but enlighten others, and they work for it. They take up responsibility in a way. They do not sit in a jungle meditating. No, you have to work. You have to work in this world. You have to work it out. Sahaja Yoga for others. You have to give them this beautiful feeling of oneness with the Divine. You have to enjoy all that. Sahaja Yoga is not only for your enjoyment, like some drunkard sitting and drinking together. It is to fill up your cups, to be given to others, to many others who are there. So they take up this responsibility. And the basis is the truth that they know about. They do not think that they are like a liability of Sahaja Yoga. They do not come to me for small things. How can I grow the hair of my father's baldness? Sort of nonsensical question. They even write to me such nonsensical things. I'm amazed. What do they think Sahaja Yoga is meant to be a beauty parlor or what? Their vision is very different. The vision is of that great universe, the great universe that has to be enlightened. We are part and parcel of that. And this universal religion is to be brought into the lives of people through realization, through awakening of Kundalini. They work very hard, they spare no efforts to see that people receive realization. But here also, a little of this ego subtly is there. That I am doing this, I am doing that. So many people ask me, Mother, you travel so much, you do so much. How is it that you manage at this age so far? First of all, I don't know what is my age is. I don't care. And secondly, I don't do anything. If I'm not doing anything, How can I be tired? I'm not doing anything whatsoever. It's all working out. I just watch and see and enjoy. So they also think we are doing this work, we are doing that work, and become very conscious of it. Then again, this Mr. Ego, which is subtly still there flickering, again becomes a big one. It's an antichrist activity, absolutely. So the construction of the mind starts, you see. This one is not working, that one is this is, they start criticizing others. Still watching others, not themselves. Then there are Sahajogis who do not feel that way. They realize that Param Chaitanya is working everything and working through them. They are the instrument. And sometimes, of course, if it fails, they start doubting. Then how is it, Mother, this thing has happened like this? If it is so, then how is it Gorbachev had to leave? I have to explain why Gorbachev had to leave politics. Imagine. That's my responsibility. Of course, we can ask God any questions. That's human beings think they have a right to ask any question to God, to curse Him, to say whatever they feel like to God as if He is a person who has taken your liability. So this still lingers on a little bit when even they are quite surrendered about it. Still, there are certain doubts in the minds. But then there are people who do not doubt anything. They understand there is Param Chaitanya which is helping. They know that behind all these miracles there is Param Chaitanya. Above all of them, other ones start realizing that we have got powers. Definitely. And that we are connected with the divine. We have powers. Of course, sometimes they also doubt if we really have powers. I mean, I have known some people, they said, I said, why don't you help them? Because I'm afraid my ego will come up. Why don't you do this? Because my ego will come up. They're frightened of their ego, so this ego follows very subtly. And better not, just not too much, you see. It's too much. Let us move a little slowly. Not to sort of believe that I have powers. But there are people who know they have been blessed with powers. And these powers can be discovered more and more within yourself. They have faith in themselves, they have faith in Sahaja Yoga, and they have complete faith in me and in this Param Chaitanya. And they work out. Very simple people. Extremely simple people they are. Very simple-hearted, innocent people. I've seen in the villages, I've seen many, also here there are many cities of that kind. So this is the 12 types of Sahajogis I've described. But there's one. That is the one which is fully empowered also. They discover their own powers. In that introspection they see. And they are sure about it, no doubts. That is the state of Nirvikalpa. They have no doubts about themselves. To have faith in me, to worship me, to receive something from me. But know that I have made you also something great. And that you have to develop your powers also. Don't only depend on the powers that I have. Just do not try to extract powers which are from your mother, but try to rise onto the same levels. You can. I wouldn't say how many will, but try. And for that, first and foremost thing, first and most important thing is complete humility. Of course, you are surrendered to me, so you are humbled. Mohammed Sahib talked of surrender. I said, surrender yourself to yourself. If yourself is the spirit, why not surrender yourself to yourself? But make that self shine. Just become one with that light. Whole life should be a light. Light of love, light of divinity, light of beauty. So you have to work out through introspection. You have got all these powers within yourself. So many powers you have. Of course, depending on mother, is nice thing. But now you grow, you have to grow. You have to grow and take up the responsibility without feeling responsible. The personality should be such. I hope we have to go ahead of all the other disciples, unless and until we do that. Can we? Possibly, I don't know. We might drown Sahaja Yoga into another ocean of nonsense. So we have to also develop our personalities through our introspection, through our understandings, through our proofs of reality. I am sorry today I have to tell about these things. I had no other chance to talk to you about it except for today, that how the disciples of Christ were deceived by this Peter and Paul company. And I sometimes think of human beings, how they are and how clever and cunning they are, and how they can try to bring down Sahaja Yoga, which is so important today. Today is the day of our resurrection. We have to pass through these 12 stages to reach the higher state. And they call it the 14th stage is the highest, where you are just an instrument, absolutely insensitive about what you are, playing into the hands of Param Chaitanya. It's a very good, auspicious day today. This is what Christ has done. He accepted his crucifixion because he had to play that role. And it was a terrible thing. But when he was carrying the cross, they were worried about him. And he said, don't worry about me. You better worry about yourself. Despite all this mutilation in the Bible, lots of truths have been there still. So we are not to hate anyone because they have crucified Christ, that's what they say. But hate that kind of an authority, if it comes to us, we should not try to crucify us. But the subtle ego that works starts in a very funny manner, and in the collectivity it starts showing up. Try to reduce it, try to reduce it. And you'll be amazed. As soon as this I-ness is finished, all the powers will start coming. It's like a flute which has got hollowness within it. If there's any obstruction, it cannot play. So all these ideas we have, all these conditionings we had, the worst of all, this so-called ego, that I am doing that, should go away. Because you can never enjoy if you think that way. You cannot enjoy your work. And you really cannot jump into the ocean of joy as long as you know that I am doing it. So, also there are certain questions about the school they have been asking, but I've already told that it's a very big task to run a school. And we have found out that the Western children have got a very poor immune system. Very poor. Maybe they are given antibiotics, or they have been given such food, chilled food maybe, or maybe some sort of a protected things. I don't know why. Or maybe they have seen lots of these ghost stories, or maybe they films or something. That their immune system is very, very weak. With the slightest thing they catch. If something is wrong with another person, they catch it. This is a new discovery we have. Also, I think with the heat, their brains start boiling, because already they are on the ego trips. So we have decided to take them down now from Vashi to Dharamshala. Dharamshala, will be surprised that Yogi has donated 10 acres of land. Also, I have donated some land. Also, a lot of money has been donated by Indians. And we are going to develop a school. You don't worry on that, what sort of a school we are going to have, what we are going to do there. You have to leave things to us. This is one thing. Accordingly, because they were going to have the school in December, it was not decided. It was discovered when the month April started. The children started getting sick. With little dust, they would start coughing, coughing, coughing. Allergies, all kinds. Then we decided that let them be in a cooler place. So they will be in Dharamshala. And let them be there. Now for all the parents, they have to know one thing. If they want their children to come up properly, they have to leave them to the school to manage. You are not to going to interfere with that. Of course, because according to the first plan, there would have been 3 months holidays in the summertime, and they would have been in Dharamshala. But now as they are taking up the same course, there's no holiday for them, and their school has started. So please don't go to Dharamshala. Immediately parents are rushing. please cancel your tickets. Only you can meet your children in Shere, where they'll be there for 3.5 months. You come and stay there during winter time. That's the only time you should meet your children. Apart from health, their education is very poor. So many of them, even at the age of 8 years, don't know how to write properly. Absolutely, they are completely neglected, pampered children. So let the school look after them. They don't want to study, they have no sense of future, they have no sense as to why are they on this earth. So let them handle. Please, some parents might not have gone for some time, maybe. But that doesn't mean as soon as you get money or a provision, you rush there. Try to understand that you should disturb the discipline of the school and the discipline of the children. Because if there's one parent coming or two parents coming, all the children start feeling bad and their attention is pointed. So the first thing we have to imbibe today, the wisdom of Christ. Wisdom. Wisdom should tell you that leave the children. We are trying our level best to do the best for them. We are not yet asking you for any help so far. We are working it out. So, it's very surprising how these children are very intelligent and they grasp things very well. But they just don't want to sit down. All the time they want to be out. They don't want to study. So we have to find out ways and methods by which they have self-esteem, that they think they have to do something in life. The parents, first of all, are in the West known to be very negligent about their children. They even kill their children and all that. But in Sahaja Yoga, they just get attached like a glue. From one side they are left, they become glued. The whole family is glued. They can't get over it. And this kind of love is the death of love. So, please, try to understand that these are the children of Sahaja Yoga, and they are looked after. Everything is going to be worked out very well for them. And have the wisdom to enjoy this development of your children. If you have any problems about it, you should trouble the people there. All your attention is on your child. It's a very wrong thing. I think that person is not a surgeon at all. Because you do not think that God is responsible for them. You think you are responsible, then you are not a surgeon at all, by any chance. You love your own children, but you don't love other children. You're not bothered about their problems, their situations. Supposing one father, mother go there, then all the rest of the children are going to feel bad. Then why should you go? Then also sending presents. Some people start sending presents. Tin fruit. Now anybody sends tin fruit, we are going to throw it in the sea. Chocolates. There's no need to send anything like that. If you have to send something, then send something that is good for them, for the whole school. Otherwise, just don't send. Only for your child, please don't send. You are Sahajogis. You are not like other people. You are special people. So if you have to send something, send for all the children, but not chocolates or not things that will spoil their immune system as it is already in a very bad shape. Tin fruit you should never send. Any kind of tin food we are going to throw them out. And it's gone so bad that we had to import tin food for these children to eat. I don't like it. I won't have it. So if you really want your children to be strong, healthy, wise, sensible surgeries, then you must have wisdom yourself to be parents. These are all realized souls born to special blessings. So be kind to them, be nice to them. The harshness is not only the harshness of showing anger to the children, but also of showing too much love. Also is a kind of harshness because it hurts other children. Also it hurts your child because that child starts thinking, oh, I'm something very special, I need not study, I need not do anything. So there should be a balanced attitude towards the children. That's what somebody told me, that you already are booked to go to Dharamshala. I'm sorry, please don't go. They are doing well, they are looked after. There's all possibility of they coming down with such beautiful personalities that you will be proud of them. Just try to understand. Try to realize that whatever effort Sahaja Yoga is putting for them should be fully materialized. I hope none of you are sort of going to disturb them. When you write letters, always in the letter you must write, I want you to study very well, I want you to come up very well, you are a good Sahaja Yogi, like this. Instead of that, I love you very much, I miss you, I am crying morning till evening for you. It's not the way. This is Greek tragedy. So we have to be encouraging them. And that you want to see your children to be like this. Give them some self-esteem, some vision of their own. And you'll see that this will be very encouraging and the teachers will feel very happy. Because some of the letters, when the teachers also read, they start crying. There's no need to say all these things to your children. I mean, you are grown-up people. And one child brought a letter, oh, my father and mother both are crying, what am I to do? I mean, he became the grandfather. With all these happenings, one has to learn that we are changing the whole world, we are changing ourselves, and our children are going to come up to help us. Of course, all the children cannot go because they think that it's an expensive school or whatever it is. We can reduce the fees later on, not now, because so many things are to be done for them. There's so much compulsion of teachers, compulsion of this. But if you see that once these children are brought up, all right, it's an experiment, then we might be able to start some schools here, somewhere, in a proper way, where children could be educated properly. But here the expense will be much more. That's it. In Rome ashram, you have to spend more than you have to spend. They can't help it. So expense-wise, it would be the same. So you have to be reasonable about it. And if possible, we should try to have some school somewhere. I don't know which country will take the responsibility. Maybe in Russia would be a good idea, cheaper. Let there be food first of all, then we can think about it. So it's an experiment and you should all try to help all the school people. Now, is there any other problem that I have to discuss with you? Better tell me. So today we are talking about our resurrection through these 14 planes that are within us, one after another. And then we burst through all these and come out as beautiful lotuses. That's what is Easter for, a suggestive of eggs being offered. And these eggs are offered so that these eggs can become the birds. Thank you. May God. So what?